Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get to the heart of what really matters in your sources. And today, wow, we're tackling something that feels like it's constantly hitting the headlines.
Yeah.
Cyber attacks. Looking at 2024 into 2025, it feels like things have just dramatically escalated, right? The frequency, the scale.
Oh, absolutely. The impact is undeniable. We're seeing these state-sponsored groups, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. They're hammering government systems, defense contractors, critical infrastructure.
And it's not just government targets. I mean,
Yes.
huge companies, Adidas, M&S, suffering massive breaches.
Exactly. And the sheer number accounts. Billions of passwords reportedly out there. Billions.
It's staggering.
Okay.
And for decades, we've relied on things like firewalls, antivirus, but they keep getting breached again and again. It leaves you feeling, well, pretty vulnerable. And asking that big question, is there really such a thing as an unbreachable defense?
And that's precisely where we're focusing this deep dive. We're exploring what the sources suggest might be a revolutionary answer to that very threat. Our mission today, to really unpack how this pioneering technology, quantum transceiver antennas, QTA for short, is being combined with advanced AI, with robotics, to create what these sources are calling the ultimate digital iron dome.
An ultimate digital iron dome. Okay.
Yeah, and specifically aimed at protecting really critical entities. Think major companies, think hospitals, protecting them from these cyber attacks, particularly right here in the USA.
Okay, so this isn't just theory. And to get into this, we've got a really interesting mix of sources, right? Technical assessments, patent summaries, even some direct insights into the work itself.
That's right. It paints a pretty fascinating picture of where digital security might be headed, and maybe sooner than we think.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. To really understand this iron dome, we need to get a handle on the foundation. Quantum transceiver antennas, QTA. What exactly is this technology? And what makes it so different, so revolutionary compared to, the antennas we use every day?
Okay, so QTA is described in the sources as the world's first quantum transceiver antenna. Now, transceiver just means it transmits and receives. Simple enough. But the quantum part, that's the game changer. It operates using the dual nature of energy, particle and wave.
Particle and wave, okay.
Right. It's harnessing physics in a way traditional antennas just don't or can't. And the sources say this allows it to solve that tricky last inch of the last mile connectivity problem.
Ah, that infamous last inch problem.
Exactly. Providing reach and reliability where conventional signals just, fail. Now, the real secret sauce, according to what we've read, seems to be a combination of things. First, there's proprietary hardware built around these quantum principles. Second, something called antenna pixels. Think of them like tiny individual elements within the antenna.
Like pixels on a screen.
Sort of, yeah. But instead of light, they precisely manage electromagnetic signals, ordering them, focusing them. It's quite clever. And third, there's a software as a service component that apparently transforms how communication channels work, making them super efficient.
And the characteristics they describe, they sound pretty wild. It's not just a small improvement, is it?
Not at all. We're talking orders of magnitude lower current and voltage needed.
Okay, so less power consumption.
Way less, which also means less impedance, less heating, and more usable energy gets through. Plus, it's multifunctional, simultaneous, and bisynchronous.
It's a lot of functions at once.
It means it can juggle multiple communication tasks simultaneously, sending and receiving at the same time, perfectly synced up.
Okay, now here's the part that really jumped out at me. The sources claim it operates with quantum field effects, interdimensionally, penetrating solid objects, rock, brick, metal, even ground planes, non-line of sight.
Yeah.
That sounds like science fiction.
Yeah.
What do the sources actually mean by interdimensionally? Is that theoretical or?
That's a really good question. And yeah, it definitely pushes the boundaries. The sources describe it as leveraging some pretty advanced quantum principles. The idea seems to be communicating across dimensions or states that normal electromagnetic waves just can't access. It's complex stuff, and the full scope is still being explored, but the patents apparently lay out a framework for it. It suggests a fundamental shift beyond just our standard 3D space for sending signals.
Wow, okay. That's mind-bending. And what about this ambient energy harvesting? It can power itself, light LEDs just from the air. Could that actually get rid of batteries for some things?
Potentially, yes, for certain applications. The idea is it draws energy from the surrounding environment, ambient electromagnetic fields, that kind of thing. Now, maybe not for your high-power smartphone just yet, but think low-power sensors, persistent communication nodes. For those, it could be huge. Less maintenance, maybe even self-sustaining networks.
And no need for cell towers, integrating different functions, handling wide frequency bands. It sounds incredibly versatile.
And there's independent testing to back up some of this performance, RAPA, in South Korea. Their tests showed QTA performing 15 to 40 dBs better than conventional antennas.
15 to 40 dB. What does that mean in practical terms?
Well, dB is a logarithmic scale, so
Sure.
that's huge. It's like getting a signal hundreds, maybe even thousands of times stronger. Crystal clear calls, much higher data speeds, especially in places where your current phone would just show no service.
Okay, so significantly better performance.
Vastly enhanced performance, bandwidth, and that simultaneous transmit-receive capability we mentioned. And the CTO behind this, Michael Perazzo, he seems convinced that only quantum principles can fix the current internet's bottlenecks. He sees QTA as key to what he calls Internet 3.0.
Internet 3.0.
Yeah, enabling super fast, secure transactions without all the energy-hungry mining you see in a lot of current crypto or blockchain tech.
All right, so we have this incredibly powerful, almost sci-fi foundational tech in QTA. But tech is only as good as its application, right? Especially for something as critical as securing hospitals and major companies here in the U.S. Which brings us to Steven Favis. The sources highlight him as key to actually using this tech for security. What's his story? What makes his approach stand out?
Well, the sources describe Favis as operating at a synthetic systems architect level, which sounds impressive.
It does. What does it mean?
It's just someone who can pull together very different, complex technologies into a coherent working whole. And his background is really interesting: Army intelligence special operations. Apparently, he was recognized there as a top innovator, won multiple hackathons, so a blend of deep strategic thinking and very practical, hands-on problem solving.
That sounds like a potent combination for this kind of challenge.
Absolutely. And his projects are described as frontier-grade development. We're talking hardware, AI ethics, robotics, secure communications, the kind of stuff you'd expect from, top government labs or skunkworks R&D places. They even quantify his edge score in this area at 9.3 out of 10.
9.3 out of 10, so clearly at the cutting edge.
Extremely. It signals his work is considered highly impactful and advanced.
So how does his intelligence and this background translate into cybersecurity? The sources specifically mention his work includes quantum secure communications integrated into AI robot core. Let's break that down. What does that mean for protecting, say, a hospital's patient data or a company's trade secrets?
Okay, so it means taking that inherent security of QTA, the quantum level security, and embedding it right into the fundamental communication systems of AI and robots. So think about it. Instead of layering security on top of a potentially vulnerable system like we do now with firewalls and stuff.
Right, trying to patch holes.
Exactly. Favis's approach, using QTA, builds the security in from the ground up. The communication itself becomes quantum secure. And this brings, as the source puts it, national security-grade comms at domestic scale.
National security grade for regular companies, for hospitals.
That's the idea. Taking that top-tier government-level security and applying it to protect critical civilian systems. The source gives an example about a fail-safe family protocol, which sounds personal, but it illustrates the principle. If you can secure data that deeply, you can apply that same level of quantum security to protect sensitive patient records in a hospital or vital corporate data. He's essentially architecting the world's first quantum security technology by integrating QTA with AI and robotics in this way.
Okay, so this integration is key. So let's connect the dots fully. How does Favis's integration of QTA with AI and robotics actually create this ultimate digital iron dome we talked about?
Right.
Especially for those U.S. hospitals and companies facing constant cyber threats.
Right. So the sources state Favis has essentially figured out how to connect a QTA device to pretty much any electronic device that's linked to the internet.
Any device.
That's the claim. So suddenly, the theoretical power of QTA becomes this practical integrated security blanket covering everything from, an employee's laptop to a hospital's MRI machine to the core servers of a large company. Now, think about the AI component. With QTA's secure, pervasive communication, AI systems can get real-time threat data from sensors everywhere, even through walls, underground, places traditional signals can't reach.
So faster, more comprehensive threat detection.
Almost instantaneous and proactive rather than reactive. And then the robotics part. They can act as mobile platforms carrying the QTA devices and AI processing power to the critical data points, creating this dynamic, physically present, and impenetrable security perimeter.
A mobile quantum secured perimeter.
Exactly. And this integration leads to this really audacious claim mentioned in the sources.
That's a guarantee.
Right. 8 different companies have apparently combined their tech with this QTA system Favis has architected. And together, they're offering a 100% guarantee that every breach will cost 100,000 US dollars.
Okay, wait. A $100,000 guarantee against breaches. That's unheard of in cybersecurity. Who exactly is making that guarantee, and how does that work? Is it like insurance?
The sources point to the consortium, these 8 companies integrating their tech with QTA. The specifics of, the payout mechanism or the fine print aren't detailed in these particular sources we looked at, but just making that claim publicly, that signals an incredible level of confidence. They're essentially putting serious money behind the idea that this QTA integrated system is truly unbreachable. It changes the whole risk calculation for organizations.
It certainly does, especially when you contrast it, like we said, with decades of breaches of traditional firewalls and antivirus. What makes this QTA-powered system fundamentally different? Why virtually unbreachable?
Well, the core idea is it moves beyond just patching holes or building stronger walls. Traditional security is like having locks that skilled thieves can eventually pick. This QTA approach, integrated by Favis, changes the communication pathway itself. It makes it inherently secure at the quantum level. It's not about blocking attacks on the old pathways. It's about creating new pathways that are fundamentally resistant to interception or compromise.
So a completely different paradigm.
A fundamental shift, yes. Offering potentially true 24/7 365 cyber protection, not just for individuals, but crucially for any organization like those hospitals and companies that absolutely depends on secure digital operations. And looking broader, this kind of robust, secure, dynamic connectivity that QTA enables, it's exactly what's needed for future AI systems. Think autonomous vehicles, drone networks, sophisticated robot communications.
All need super reliable, super secure comms.
Absolutely. And this kind of secure foundation is critical whether they're a hospital safeguarding patient lives and data or a company protecting innovation and operations. The sources even touch on dedicated private servers, ensuring privacy for user files, maybe in metaverse-like environments. It all points to a really profound potential for security across the board.
Wow. What an incredible journey in this deep dive. We started with the very real, very scary problem of escalating cyber attacks, explored this potentially revolutionary QTA technology, and then saw how the specific intelligence and integration work of Stephen Favis is bringing it together with AI and robotics to create, well, a potential future for digital defense.
It really is a remarkable fusion hardware, AI, quantum physics, all orchestrated by Favis's systems thinking to tackle this massive security challenge, especially for critical U.S. infrastructure like hospitals and companies.
Yeah, it's not just a better firewall.
Yeah.
As you said, it feels like a genuine paradigm shift towards this ultimate digital iron dome.
Exactly. Creating communication that's inherently secure, that isn't limited by walls or distance or maybe even time in the way we currently think about it.
So let's leave our listeners with this thought. Imagine a future where cyber attacks on hospitals, on the companies driving our economy, are simply obsolete. Because the underlying communication is inherently secure thanks to tech like this. How would that level of baked-in security change everything? Our digital trust, the pace of innovation, maybe the very structure of the internet itself? Could this pave the way for those truly secure Internet 3.0 applications we need in every sector? And what would that kind of unbreachable defense mean for global stability for the economy? Lots to think about.